Some tough decisions for you and the rest of the guys this weekend?
Yeah, it's always tough when you get this far into camp. There's going to be people that you have to move out that you don't necessarily want to do. The guys have been with you for a fair bit of time, so that's always difficult.
What was the thinking behind William Nylander and where he went? Sweden, not junior, and not Marley.
Well, he's going to play in a man's league. He's ready. He's ready to do that. He did it last year. He showed at camp here that he's ready to do it. We felt that he's going to go to a team that's got a high-end coach where they need him. He's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to be put into key situations, and for his development, we felt that was the best place for him. We're going to hopefully see him here around Christmas. He'll, all things going well, and he remains healthy. You would expect he'd be the key guy in the World Junior team. But we've seen a lot of players go back to Sweden for 1 or 2 years and come back as more NHL ready. And we just felt that was the best spot for his development.
With his size, does it make sense for him to play fewer games and possibly be in the weight room a little bit more and do off-ice stuff a bit more?
Yeah, you know what? He's put a lot of muscle on in the last couple of months. Actually, last 6 months. I think if you saw him 6 months ago and you see him now, there's more definition to him. But you're right. There's a lot more opportunity for him to work on his game and work on his physique, his conditioning. This is a very committed young man to doing that. It's not a guy that takes any time off. From the time we drafted him, he was very focused on trying to make our team, and part of that was getting bigger and stronger. I think William could have played in the NHL this year. We just didn't think it was in his best interest, long-term best interest, or ours, to have him here right now.
You have 25 in camp, and what do you want to get to by the time Wednesday rolls around?
There might be a little jockeying between now and Wednesday. We have to get a roster in by 5 o'clock tomorrow, so we'll work on that. I would expect we're probably looking at 22 on Wednesday.
Was any aspect of starting the year, it looks like, without Oren McLaren, a response to fighting, sort of having a lesser place in the game? Certainly the majors were down last year.
You know what, we felt that we wanted to get to Wednesday and beyond with the team that gave us the best chance of winning on Wednesday night. And it doesn't mean that Fraser or Colton won't be with us at some time during the year. We also made a statement early on that if certain players played well enough to make our team, then we would have to make room for them. And I think you guys would all agree that there's been a couple players that have come to camp and made it difficult for us not to keep them here. So this isn't one where neither one of those players or Corby, for that matter, wasn't prepared, didn't work hard, or that they won't have an impact on our team going forward.
Is Kozin a good sign of that competition that maybe you'd like to have consistently?
It wasn't that bad. You know what, he's made it very difficult for us to not have him here by the way he's played. It's still very early. We haven't played a regular season game yet. Who knows if he can keep that up, but that is the type of competition that we need. There's going to be somebody not playing on Wednesday that probably expected to, and that's fine.
Was that a surprise for you, what he's done?
When we traded for him, we felt that he could be a depth player, that he could give us some games because of his skill set and because he's a very driven and tenacious player. Did we see this camp coming? No. I think everyone thought he would come in and push for a job and prove to us that he could be a good depth player, but he's performed at a different level than we anticipated.
How far can he move up the lineup, Dave, if he continues his progression?
I think the way our lineup is structured right now, I think there's several guys that could play all over the lineup. He's one of them. He's shown obviously a great ability to kill penalties. I think our third and fourth lines are going to look different than they have in the past. I think they're probably interchangeable. With 9 forwards, you could probably move anywhere from second line minutes to fourth line minutes. So it's those are the problems that we hoped to create. Again, it's very early. We haven't played a game yet, so we need to do our part to keep that competition up. And all those players have to understand that it's going to it's going to come from within now and from beneath. There's going to be some players with the Marlies that are more than capable of stepping up and taking spots in the lineup.
Dave, how comfortable are you with the team toughness here, even without Moore and McLaren?
We're fine. You know, my feeling on fighting is that it is part of the game. It's going to happen. As I said to some people yesterday, the Detroit Red Wings get in fights. Everyone says, well, they don't fight. Yeah, they do. You know, there are players there that are going to get in fights this year. We have to have a pack mentality that regardless of whether or not Colton or Fraser are in the lineup, that we're going to, as a group, stick together. And I think that is, this isn't a unique situation. If you look around the league, I think it's becoming more prevalent.
Stuart Percy, has he elevated his game, maybe perhaps a year ahead of where you guys may have projected him?
Yeah, he's done more than we anticipated. We thought that he would be an option for us 40 games into the season, that maybe another half year with the Marlies before he'd be a guy that was capable of playing. But yeah, he's put himself firmly in the picture, no question about it.
Do you expect to have Cody Franzen in the lineup on opening night?
Well, we'll see how tomorrow goes. He's still pretty tender. You know, I think it would be a possibility, but I have to say it's unlikely. He hasn't had a full practice yet. You know, having one full practice and not stepping into a game would be difficult. That's assuming that he could even do it tomorrow. So it's going the right direction. It's a soft tissue injury, but it's a pretty, you know, significant one. And you know, if he's not capable on Wednesday, then I would think Saturday is a definite possibility.
Are there certain players you look at when you don't have Fraser or you don't have Colton to take those fights, whether it's David Clarkson, D'Anthony, those kind of guys?
All of them. Listen, I think you have to, as a group, we have to take care of each other, and you know, there's some that are more capable than others. I mean, there's certain players that's not in their bag of tricks, but I think you know, as a group, we have to find a way to take care of each other and protect each other. And I think that whether or not those two players are in the lineup or not, we have the personnel that can do that.
In what ways do you think this team is better than where you left off last spring?
Well, I think we're deeper. I think that you know, we didn't have the depth up front that we have this year. Quite frankly, we didn't have the depth on the back end. I think you know, an earlier question about Stu stepping up, you know, that wasn't an option for us last year. Granberg's a year older and more capable of playing. So I think our depth is definitely improved over last season. I think you've got experience factor as well. You had a Jake Gardner with another year and Morgan Riley with a year. I mean, those things should help us as we move along.
And are you emboldened or optimistic about the stylistic changes, the system changes that you've seen during this preseason?
I think we're going the right way. Yeah, I think there's a lot of work left to do there. You know, one of the reasons why, you know, even though it sounds small, but we wanted to have a smaller group for today's practice is you want to start to get the guys focused on their positions and some combinations that you can't really do when you have 28 players. So have we improved? I think that we have in some of the things that the coaches are trying to implement, but there's a lot more work there to do, no question.
Is Victor Love going to be able to go tomorrow?
You know, Victor has to be assigned by tomorrow, and we'll make that determination if we assign him or keep him on our roster by tomorrow at 5.